How's it going, everybody? My name is John, and today we're going to talk about what might just be the most anticipated and the most viewed YouTube podcast in history, with over 30 million views in less than just 48 hours of being uploaded, as Donald Trump hops on Joe Rogan for a 3-hour conversation. They obviously talked about a lot, so there's a lot to discuss. Let's get right into it.
The episode of you when you're on The View, and I think it was 2015 or 2006, like when you were running for president.
Right.
And you got introduced as our friend Donald Trump.
That's right.
Whoopi Goldberg gives you a big hug and a kiss. Joy Behar gives you a big hug. Barbara Walters gives you a big hug.
And please welcome my friend, Donald Trump.
My friend. Watch this. Just watch this. This is nuts. We're in an alternative universe. Okay? Because this is not that long ago. Look at this. Kisses, hugs, kisses to Whoopi. Everybody hugs and kisses, even Joy Behar.
Joe starts off hot by essentially exposing the 180 flip in the industry by using The View as an example. Joy Behar, Whoopi Goldberg, Barbara Walters, all of them, hugs and kisses to Donald Trump as he walks on the stage. It really is like an alternative universe. Many people, including myself, were looking forward to the Trump-Rogan conversation so much because we knew it would do a lot to expose the media. Later on, Joe does this again by bringing up ABC during the presidential debate with Harris and Trump, how they fact-checked him a bunch of times, but didn't fact-check her, even though she made wild claims that there was no U.S. troops deployed anywhere in the world, while there's that infamous viral clip of U.S. troops proving her wrong.
The problem was they fact-checked you and they didn't fact-check her. And
Not
one of the
at
most
all.
egregious examples of that was when she said that there are no troops right now deployed in war zones.
Yeah.
There's a very famous viral video that went online of troops in a war saying, well, what the fuck are we then?
As of today, there is not one member of the United States military who is in active duty in a combat zone in any war zone around the world, the first time this century.
What?
But let's understand.
So where the fuck are we right now?
A few minutes later, we had a little bit of a bombshell in the conversation as Donald Trump reveals the biggest mistake he made in his first administration.
Some great people, but you don't think about that. I picked some people that I shouldn't have picked. I picked a few people that I shouldn't have picked. And
Neocons?
yeah, neocons or bad people or disloyal people.
Trump actually ousting neocons. But this is the primary reason why I feel so confident in a second Trump administration. I don't like these old neocon conservatives. I'm with the new Republican Party, which is Vivek, J.D. Vance, RFK Jr., Tulsi Gabbard, who recently joined the Republican Party, Elon Musk. We actually have a unity party and a dream team where now I feel Trump has the right people to point to these positions, as opposed to his first presidency where they told him he was 17 points down, so it's hard to make these 10,000 appointments he claims he had to make. But further on the subject of the unity party, Trump deeper in the conversation makes what can only be seen as a very positive revelation for the Maha movement.
Of the fact that you guys teamed up.
Yeah, it's
and
a
are you
good
guys
combination.
completely committed to have him a part of your administration?
Oh, I am. But the only thing I want to be a little careful about with him is the environmental. Because, he doesn't like oil. I love oil and gas. I think
Just
it's
keep him out of that.
to fire. So I'm going to sort of keep him out of a little. I said, focus on health. Focus.
Yeah.
You can do whatever you want.
Trump's I quote is that Kennedy can do whatever he wants in terms of health, which I've seen the Republicans against Trump accounts say this is something you should be extremely worried about because, yeah, the FDA and the current people have done such a great job of keeping Americans healthy. Read the back of some of these nutrition labels that you see in Walmart. Everything has xanthium gum, red 40, yellow 5, blue 2. That is terrible for the American people, and that is undoubtedly making us a lot unhealthier than these other countries. All the data points to it. So I'll be patiently sitting here waiting for the Republicans against Trump account to explain to me why I should be worried about RFK Jr. controlling the health when the people who are currently controlling it do a dog shit job. There was what I know will be a very highly discussed moment during the interview where Trump responds to Harris calling him a student of a very certain German leader.
Hearing this now, Kamala compared you to, said your love yesterday.
Kamala's a very low IQ person. She's a very low IQ.
The reason I say that that moment will be highly discussed is because I know that the media is going to take it out of context and say that Trump is such an evil and bad person for spreading this rhetoric that Kamala is a low IQ person. How could he say that? It's so insulting. Meanwhile, Kamala's over here comparing him to literally the worst person in human history. And really think about it. Is Trump wrong in his claims of saying that Kamala is a low IQ person? Some of her campaign moves are very questionable. And also, for her to say that Trump is a student of that man while he has a town in Israel named after him seems like a pretty low IQ statement to make for me.
Like, you want to be a rebel, you want to be punk rock, you want to buck the system, you're a conservative now. That's how crazy. And then the liberals are now pro silencing criticism. They're pro censorship online.
As crazy as that take might sound, I agree with it 100%. In 2024, to be a rebel and to buck the system is to be a Republican. You will probably be pretty surprised if you look at the data within our universities that most professors and students are highly leaning left. That is the future of our society, being taught by other leftists, as well as all the mainstream celebrities out there endorsing Kamala, such as Billie Eilish, Taylor Swift, Beyonce, which is seeming like less and less of a good endorsement with all this Diddy stuff coming out. But truthfully, if you want to be punk and against the norms, yeah, it's to go with Trump and be Republican. Joe Rogan, at the huge risk of being labeled an election denier, says that he agrees with Trump that there was well-documented instances of election interference.
In terms of narrative, so there's two things, right? There's the Russia hoax. There's the collusion with Russia that was never proven, right? That's one.
Well, no, it was proven it didn't happen.
Right.
Yeah.
But they talked about it on
but
television.
But it took 2.5 years to prove.
But not only that, but it was a constant narrative on television.
I'm going to stop him right there, but if you guys want to see the second reason, you can check out the full interview, which if you haven't seen it, I don't know where you're at. But this first instance is pretty easy to explain, so let me explain it to you. Trump and Biden's election, it's well documented that it was decided by less than a percentage point. It was an extremely close election, as all of us know. There was a poll done after the election that asked people if they would have voted for Biden had they known that the Trump collusion story was not true and inflated by the media. And more than the amount that was deciding the election said that they would have not voted for Biden had they known that that story about Trump was not true. So to say that you don't see how this could be election interference, not election fraud, that's a different thing, but election interference, you are delusional. Unfortunately, there wasn't quite that shocking revelation that I think we were all hoping for, but there was still some pretty interesting topics around it discussed.
I opened them up partially. I was met with, from good people, good people. People that were well-meaning. Mike Pompeo was one of them.
And you opened it up the first time, though.
Because a lot of times,
what was the hesitation, though?
Addresses, people that are still living, it'll be time. It's a cleansing, it's really a cleansing. So I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it immediately, almost immediately upon entering office.
Trump states that good people around him, such as Mike Pompeo, discussed not releasing the files because it could still affect the lives of people who are still around from the event. But now Trump says that he is adamant to release these files very quickly into his administration, which I have no doubt he's telling the truth, considering that a Kennedy and RFK Jr. will be involved.
But I was asked by some people not to open them. There's a Martin Luther King file, too, by the way, that they'd like to see. I don't know if you know, but there is that.
We all know that our government was up to some very sketchy things at the time, so that's why I think the most interesting part of his answer is when he brings up the MLK Jr. files, which Joe didn't even ask about, which tells me that Trump might know something that's inside of those files. Our government was up to a lot of skeptical shit in them 1960s to 1980s era. And another great moment that I'm sure will go down in Joe Rogan podcast infamy, Joe excitedly asked Trump about the prospect of aliens.
You're interested in that?
Oh, very interested in that. How much did they tell you about that?
A lot.
Really?
Yeah.
What'd they tell you? How much can you tell?
So
how's that work? Is it like super
I
top
think
secret?
I can tell,
Tell me.
Well, I interviewed jet pilots, and they said, we saw things, sir, that were very strange. Like a round ball, but it wasn't a comet or a meteor. Do you think that we have aliens coming, flying around or whatever?
What do you think?
There's no reason not to. I mean, there's no reason not to think that Mars and all these planets don't have life.
So Trump plays a pretty safe answer saying that, hey, I'm open to the possibility. I've had some pilots tell me that they've seen some shit and it's pretty wild. But you know what? There can be life on other planets. He informally says Mars, which we know there isn't life on. But Trump's heart's in the right place. After a very interesting, long 3-hour discussion, Trump and Rogan end the conversation on a very positive note.
I got to make a speech,
right.
but we'll do it again. I want to do it again with you.
Okay.
You are something. I said, how long will this last? Anywhere from an hour to 3 or 4 hours.
How long we do, Jamie? 3 hours.
Good. Well, we'll do it again. I thought it was great. I think it was great. It was a lot of fun. You are a fascinating guy, and you've done a great job.
Thank you very much.
I'm a big fan, and thank you very much. It's been an honor.
It's been an honor to have you on as well.
I'm going to make a great speech, and I'm going to say, and if I'm a little off tonight, I'm going to blame you. I'm going to say I spoke to this guy for 3 hours. Anyway, it's a great honor to be
Thank you, sir.
with you. Thank you.
Good luck.
I think I can speak for the 30 million plus people that have seen it already that we would all love to see Trump hop on the Joe Rogan podcast once again, hopefully when he does become the 47th president of the United States. But anyway, I hope you all enjoyed my quick breakdown of this 3-hour podcast. As I'm sure you can tell, there's a lot more that they discussed in the podcast that I didn't get to. Make sure you go check it out for yourself. Make it the most viewed podcast in YouTube history. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Make sure you hit like and subscribe if you did, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace out.